Okay, this section will look at economic activities and in particular what factors do affect an industry's location. So, how do industries choose their location? Deciding where to locate an industry requires weighing up a large number of factors. The owner will want to locate at a site that has given the greatest profit. And in recent years, loads of industries have left the UK for LEDCs, where they can make products far cheaper, and has led to a massive decline in the UK's ability to make manufactured products. So just thinking, can you name 5 factors that affect industrial location? Okay, here are some of the main factors that you will need to know. Raw materials, machinery, energy, capital, government policy, labour, market, transport network and land are all vital to any industry location. I tend to try to remember them by using the acronym at the bottom, Mrs. Gelt. For these 7 factors are largely important in determining where industries do locate. So the markets, where are you going to sell your products? The closer you are, in particular when you're thinking about perishable goods such as fruit. If they are bruised in transit, that might mean that the products might not get to market on time, or in a damaged state, might not be able to be sold. Some industries are heavily reliant on raw materials. The closer they are to them means that their transport costs are much reduced. The site or location of any particular industry is also key important. So that is what land is on that little spider diagram. Most industries have sought over the last 20 or so years to locate on the edge of cities where land is relatively cheap and spacious, so it allows them room to expand. The government has a large role to play for large areas of the north of the UK where there is high unemployment. If the government can give grants to companies to locate in an area, it will reduce unemployment and therefore mean that the government aren't paying out in any other sense. Energy used to be vitally important 200, 300 years ago, where water wheels were used for the industries. But now we have the national grid, electricity can be transferred anywhere. However, there are still some industries that are highly dependent on energy and sometimes have to build their own power plants. There are good examples of this with aluminium smelters located in the north of the UK, where they've built their own coal-fired power stations to produce the energy that's needed, and therefore they will need large amounts of space and also access to energy as well. Labour is also key and important for your products. If you're going to have a skilled workforce that are going to produce those goods, a good labour source is vital. And probably most important now is the idea of transport. If you have a transport network, and again, most of these industries are locating on the edge of cities, close to dual carriageways, where lorries can produce those vital raw materials and also send away your finished products. Transport is vitally important for any industry in today's age. So there are other factors that are important depending on the industry. They include the climate, suppose that's very important for farming. You may have other things like industrial inertia. So the initial factor that meant that an industry located in an area might have actually gone. But because they've spent so much money on a factory, maybe a steelworks, they are finding ways to stay in that location and reduce costs in other areas. Universities might be important for research and development processes. So just think about there have been numerous factors which are important for all different types of industry. You may be given a map such as this and being asked to decide where certain factors are important for various different industries themselves. So where would your integrated steelworks go? Where would a software design company go? Where would a hypermarket or supermarket best be located? and where would a cement works be best put? Have a think by using the map and also using the key, and think about what would be the best arguments for each different location. You have to think in the exam about various different industries. So here's the steelworks. Why are steelworks located where they are? Well, they do have to be close to raw materials. They need iron, ore, they need coal, and also they need limestone. So it's very important they are very close to those products because they will reduce their costs. Plenty of flat land is also needed for their factories. Water supply, as you can see, there's a cooling tower in the photograph, so they do need water. They need a suitable market, and in most cases government aid is very, very important for most of the steelworks in the UK as they try to compete on a big international market with many cheaper producers such as South Korea and also China. They also need a labour market. Vital skills are needed and they often employ many apprentices so they can carry on the good work that's been there for several hundred years. And obviously, as mentioned before, the transport routes are vitally important. Some primary industries need suitable climates in which they can grow their products. They also need good quality soil as well. So these are vitally important when you're trying to produce various different crops. And a suitable climate will mean that you are going to be able to produce various different products such as potatoes in a temperate climate. Bananas are needed in a tropical climate. Good quality soil is where the farming will be most successful, where you've got nutrients and they are rich within the soil. Economic factors are important as well. They might need cheap land. Farming needs vast amounts of land, so they need to be found where land is going to be cheap and not have any other conflicting land use wanting to use it. Also, it needs good transport routes. If you go to transport your products quickly to their markets, often that is very, very key and important, but as is the market too. Tertiary industries tend to locate in green open spaces, so they have cheap land in which to build, and not only have that space to build but have space for car parks as well. They need a suitable local market. You'll get lots of shops in cities where there are plenty of customers who are going to come very, very frequently to use your facilities. Good transport routes are also key and important and need to be near public transport routes as well, so customers who haven't got cars can get to them easily as well. Often need skilled and educated workers. Some hospitals will need those kind of things, as also universities will as well. But also they need lots of people to support their services. If you haven't got lots of people, it isn't going to be able to support a service. You will need to know one industry from an MEDC and one from an LDC. The key things you'll need to know are where and why they do locate where they do. Like I said, don't panic. In an exam, you can use those key ideas that I've mentioned to you a few slides ago with regard to those key industrial location factors. They are important not only in MEDCs but also in LDCs too. Do industrial locations change over time? Well, yes, they do. In some cases, some industries will have located in one location many, many years ago, but now they've moved. So let's take primary industries for an example. Primary industries will have had often raw materials become exhausted, so industries decide to move elsewhere. Climate change means that some crops can't be grown in new areas. There might be economic reasons why primary industries have moved. They need to lower their costs from previously expensive areas. And there are social factors as well, such as improved transport routes means that primary goods can be located in more remote areas. Government policies change as well to allow industry in new areas. Secondary industry has also seen some change over the last 30 or 40 years. New energy sources mean that industry doesn't have to be close to power sources, and they can be located anywhere. They can transport goods far cheaper and easier and faster now so don't need to be near the raw materials. Also, government policy is quite important in terms of determining where industries locate. Government policies change, which encourages industries to settle in different locations. Like I said, they give incentives to open factories in areas where there may have been high unemployment. Tertiary industry has seen some dramatic change as well. Gone are the days when industries located particularly in the centre of towns, such as shops. They're now wanting to locate on the edge. Workers want increasingly nice working environment and pleasant surroundings, and often that is on the edge. There might be a change in the investment as well coming into certain areas, and again the government has a role to play there. But improved transport facilities mean that retailers don't need to be located in these city centres. Most people now have got access to cars, so there's more out-of-town shopping centres like Meadowhall. Shopping patterns have changed as well. So people don't just shop on High Street, they shop on the internet, which has led to many town centres feeling that they're going to decline.